Welcome to Stoic Mastery. Today we're diving deep into the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers. As an emperor of Rome, Marcus faced constant challenges, from wars and political strife to personal struggles. Yet, despite the chaos surrounding him, he remained grounded, calm, and unshaken. How did he do it? Through a powerful philosophy that allowed him to rise above distractions, master his mind, and stay true to his values. In this video, we're going to explore 12 life-changing Stoic lessons from Marcus Aurelius, lessons that can help you navigate modern life with the same calm and resilience. Nothing can disturb you when you put into practice these lessons. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by stress, troubled by the opinions of others, or caught in a whirlwind of emotions, these teachings will give you a practical roadmap to reclaiming your inner peace. Marcus believed that nothing external should disturb your mind, that true strength comes from within, and with the right mindset, you can build a life where you remain undisturbed, no matter what comes your way. We'll go beyond abstract philosophy and focus on actionable steps to apply these principles in your daily life. From learning to accept what you can't control to embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, these lessons will help you build a resilient mindset. So, take a moment to breathe, center yourself, and get ready to transform your outlook with wisdom that has endured for centuries. If you're ready to live with greater purpose, calm, and clarity, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the Stoic teachings of Marcus Aurelius and discover how you too can create a life where nothing can disturb you. Lesson 1. Accept what you can't change. Marcus Aurelius believed that much of human suffering stems from resisting things we cannot control. In his writings, he emphasized that peace of mind comes when we accept things as they are, rather than struggling to make them fit our expectations. This is a core Stoic principle, understanding the boundary between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. Marcus famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But what does it mean to truly accept what you can't change? Acceptance doesn't imply passivity or surrender. Instead, it's about freeing yourself from unnecessary stress and frustration. Imagine getting stuck in traffic when you're already late. Most of us would feel irritated, anxious, or even angry, wishing the cars would move faster, or blaming ourselves for not leaving sooner. But as Marcus would remind us, the traffic is beyond our control. We can either accept the situation and use the time productively, or we can resist it, letting anger and frustration take over. One path leads to peace, the other only adds to our suffering. In accepting what we can't change, we don't deny our feelings. We acknowledge them, but we don't let them control us. The Stoic approach is to recognize that while we can't control external events, we can always control our response. Acceptance gives us the clarity and calm to respond rather than react. For instance, instead of getting upset over a rainy day that ruins outdoor plans, a Stoic would focus on what they can do indoors, or embrace the rain as part of life's unpredictability. Marcus Aurelius practiced this philosophy in his own life as emperor, facing countless challenges and adversities. From wars to plagues, he had every reason to feel overwhelmed, yet he accepted his circumstances with dignity and resilience. He understood that struggling against reality only exhausts us, while acceptance frees us to focus on what we can influence. Practically, this lesson can be applied in many areas of our lives. Start by asking yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, then practice letting it go. Focus instead on what you can change, your thoughts, actions, and responses. This shift in mindset will empower you to live with greater peace, resilience, and clarity. Accepting what you can't change doesn't make you powerless. It actually gives you the strength to face life with a calm and steady mind. Lesson 2. Focus on the present moment. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of living fully in the present. As a Stoic philosopher, he believed that a significant source of human distress comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. In his personal writings, he reminded himself to confine yourself to the present. This idea wasn't just philosophical, it was a practical approach to maintaining calm and focus amidst the demands of his life as an emperor. When we constantly think about what has already happened or anticipate what might come, we miss out on the only moment we truly have control over, the present. The Stoics taught that life unfolds moment by moment, and each moment deserves our full attention and effort. By focusing on the present, we're able to perform better, enjoy life more, and let go of unnecessary worries. Think about how often we get caught up in what-ifs and if-onlys. Worrying about the future often brings anxiety, while regret about the past can lead to feelings of guilt or disappointment. But the past is unchangeable and the future is uncertain. When we focus on the present, we anchor ourselves to reality and reduce the burden of hypothetical scenarios that may never happen. For example, if you're having a conversation with someone, being fully present allows you to listen deeply and respond thoughtfully. This not only improves your relationships, but also enhances your experience of the moment. Focusing on the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting to plan for the future. Rather, it's about letting go of excessive rumination and anxiety. Marcus Aurelius would urge us to take each day as it comes, one task, one thought, and one action at a time. If something in the future requires our attention, we can address it in due time. Meanwhile, we give our best to what is directly in front of us. Practically, you can bring yourself into the present moment by practicing mindfulness techniques. For instance, when you find your mind wandering to past regrets or future worries, take a few deep breaths and remind yourself to focus on what's happening right now. You can also break your tasks into smaller steps, giving each one your full attention. Whether you're working, spending time with loved ones, or simply relaxing, commit to being fully present. By living in the present moment, we can find peace, satisfaction, and clarity. As Marcus Aurelius taught, focusing on the now helps us to let go of distractions and experience life as it truly is, moment by moment. Lesson 3. Control your emotions. Marcus Aurelius believed that emotional mastery was a cornerstone of living a Stoic life. In his view, our emotions, while natural, often cloud our judgment and lead us away from rational thinking. The Stoics didn't advocate for suppressing emotions or becoming emotionless. Rather, they believed in understanding and managing them. By controlling our emotions, we can prevent them from controlling us, allowing us to respond to life's challenges with clarity and wisdom. Emotional control is not about denying feelings, but about recognizing them without letting them dominate our actions. When we feel anger, fear, or sadness, our immediate reaction might be to act impulsively, saying or doing things we later regret. Marcus taught that by pausing, observing our emotions, and taking a moment to breathe, we can respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. He famously wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Instead of lashing out or retaliating, the Stoic approach is to maintain our composure and act in alignment with our values. One way to practice emotional control is through the Stoic technique of cognitive distancing. When you experience a strong emotion, imagine yourself as an observer, analyzing your feelings objectively. Ask yourself questions like, "Why am I feeling this way?" And, "Is this emotion helpful or harmful to me right now?" This practice allows you to separate yourself from the immediate intensity of the emotion, giving you the mental space to respond calmly and rationally. Controlling emotions also involves setting boundaries. For example, if a situation or person consistently triggers negative emotions, you can take proactive steps to manage your exposure. This doesn't mean avoiding conflict or discomfort entirely, but it does mean taking responsibility for your emotional well-being. Marcus Aurelius understood that life would always present challenges, and that controlling our emotional responses was key to navigating those challenges effectively. Another practical approach is to replace negative thoughts with constructive ones. If you're feeling envious, remind yourself of the things you're grateful for. If you're angry, think about how you might resolve the issue peacefully. The Stoics believed that we have the power to choose our response in any situation, and by cultivating a habit of emotional control, we can transform even the most challenging circumstances into opportunities for growth. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius taught that we should be the masters of our emotions, not their slaves. By practicing self-awareness and exercising control, we can lead lives of greater inner peace, resilience, and clarity. In every situation, remember, your power lies in how you choose to respond. Lesson 4. View obstacles as opportunities. Marcus Aurelius is famously quoted as saying, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound statement reflects a core Stoic belief. Obstacles are not barriers to success, but essential parts of the journey. Rather than seeing challenges as things that block our path, we should view them as opportunities for growth, learning, and self-improvement. In this way, obstacles become catalysts for personal development. The Stoics believe that every hardship contains within it the seeds of progress. When we face difficulties, we have a choice. We can either succumb to frustration and despair, or we can choose to see the situation as a chance to strengthen our character. Marcus Aurelius viewed adversity as a necessary part of life that, when met with resilience, helps us grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Just as muscles are strengthened through resistance in physical exercise, Our minds and spirits are strengthened when we confront and overcome challenges. One practical way to apply this lesson is by shifting your mindset about obstacles. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can this situation help me improve?" This subtle change in perspective turns the obstacle into a source of empowerment rather than discouragement. For example, if you're struggling with a difficult project at work, approach it as an opportunity to build new skills, learn patience, or develop perseverance. Each obstacle, no matter how minor or significant, is a stepping stone on the path to greater resilience. Additionally, viewing obstacles as opportunities helps us cultivate a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities and understanding can be developed through effort and learning. This mindset empowers us to face setbacks without losing motivation. We stop fearing failure and instead embrace it as a natural part of the process. Marcus Aurelius understood that setbacks and obstacles are inevitable. They are woven into the fabric of life. By welcoming them as opportunities, we transform them from sources of suffering into moments of growth. This Stoic lesson is especially relevant in today's fast-paced, often unpredictable world. Challenges are constant, but how we choose to respond determines our experience. By reframing obstacles as opportunities, we take control of our perspective. Life may not always go as planned, but when we see the value in every challenge, we can approach each day with strength, optimism, and purpose. Remember, what stands in the way becomes the way. Each obstacle is an invitation to become a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Lesson 5. Practice humility. For Marcus Aurelius, humility was a fundamental Stoic virtue. Despite being the emperor of Rome, one of the most powerful men in the world, he constantly reminded himself to stay grounded and modest. He understood that true wisdom and strength come not from arrogance or self-importance, but from recognizing one's limitations and remaining open to growth. In his writings, he reflected on his mortality and the vastness of the universe, reminding himself that no one is above others or beyond improvement. Humility, in the Stoic sense, is about seeing yourself as part of a larger whole, rather than placing yourself above others. This perspective shifts the focus away from the ego, helping you avoid feelings of entitlement, pride, or superiority. It's easy to get caught up in achievements, social status, or the desire for recognition, but Marcus taught that true fulfillment comes from aligning our actions with our principles, not from seeking approval or admiration. One practical way to practice humility is to remind yourself of your interconnectedness with others. Every person you encounter has their own struggles, strengths, and weaknesses. Viewing yourself as part of a greater human experience fosters empathy and reduces the need to compare or compete. When you interact with others, focus on learning from them rather than proving yourself. Recognize that each person, no matter their role, has something valuable to offer. This approach not only strengthens relationships, but also broadens your perspective. Another aspect of humility is being open to constructive criticism. Marcus Aurelius valued self-improvement and saw feedback as a valuable tool for growth. Accepting feedback, even when it's uncomfortable, requires humility, because it acknowledges that we are not perfect and that there is always room for improvement. The more open we are to learning from others, the more we can refine our character and actions. Practicing humility also involves letting go of the need for constant recognition. In our modern world, where social media often amplifies the desire for validation, maintaining humility can be challenging. However, Stoicism teaches us that our worth isn't defined by others' opinions or the accolades we receive. Instead, focus on your own values and the quality of your actions. Strive to do good not for praise, but because it aligns with who you are. Ultimately, humility allows us to live with greater peace and authenticity. By accepting our imperfections and remaining open to growth, we build stronger, more meaningful connections with others and ourselves. Humility is a reminder that no matter our status or achievements, we are always students of life, with more to learn and room to grow. Lesson 6. Be grateful. Gratitude is a powerful practice that Marcus Aurelius emphasized in his writings. As a Stoic, he understood that a grateful mindset is essential for cultivating peace and contentment. In his daily reflections, he often expressed appreciation for the simple aspects of life. Despite his position as an emperor, facing constant challenges, Marcus knew that by focusing on what he was thankful for, he could remain grounded, resilient, and less vulnerable to negative emotions. Being grateful doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties in life or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about consciously shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have. In a world where it's easy to compare ourselves to others or dwell on what's missing, Gratitude reminds us that we already possess more than we often realize. When we practice gratitude, we develop a sense of abundance and contentment, reducing feelings of envy, dissatisfaction, and anxiety. One way to incorporate this Stoic lesson into your life is by keeping a daily gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. These don't have to be monumental. In fact, the Stoics believed in appreciating the small, ordinary parts of life. You might express gratitude for a good conversation, a comfortable place to sleep, or the beauty of nature. By making this a daily habit, you train your mind to notice and appreciate the positive aspects of life, even on challenging days. Marcus Aurelius also encouraged gratitude for things that others might view as negative or trivial. He believed that every experience, whether pleasant or difficult, has something valuable to teach us. This practice of finding gratitude in adversity is a powerful Stoic exercise. For example, if you face a difficult situation, try to appreciate the lessons it offers: patience, resilience, or self-awareness. This mindset turns hardships into opportunities for growth, deepening your gratitude even in tough times. Gratitude also strengthens relationships and fosters empathy. When you acknowledge and appreciate the kindness or support of others, it brings a sense of connection and warmth. Expressing gratitude, whether verbally or through small acts of kindness, nurtures positive relationships and uplifts those around you. In essence, gratitude shifts our perspective from lack to abundance, from negativity to positivity. It reminds us that happiness doesn't come from external achievements or possessions, but from appreciating what we already have. By practicing gratitude, as Marcus Aurelius did, we cultivate a mindset of peace, resilience, and joy. Gratitude is a timeless tool for finding contentment and balance in a constantly changing world. Lesson 7. Let go of the ego. Marcus Aurelius understood that the ego can be one of our biggest obstacles to inner peace and growth. As a Stoic, he saw the ego not just as pride, but as a barrier that distorts our perspective, fuels negative emotions, and often leads us away from rational thinking. Despite being an emperor with immense power, Marcus constantly reminded himself to let go of any sense of superiority or entitlement. He knew that humility and self-awareness were the foundations for a clear and balanced mind. The Stoic concept of letting go of the ego is about releasing the need to be the center of attention, to always be right, or to seek constant validation from others. Ego-driven thinking can trap us in cycles of comparison, resentment, and frustration. When our sense of self-worth is tied to external achievements, status, or the opinions of others, we become vulnerable to disappointment and dissatisfaction. By contrast, letting go of the ego allows us to find contentment within ourselves, focusing on what truly matters: our values, character, and actions. One way to let go of the ego is by practicing self-reflection. The Stoics often engaged in daily reflection to examine their actions, thoughts, and motivations. By doing so, you can become more aware of when your ego is influencing your behavior. Ask yourself questions like, am I seeking validation? Or am I reacting out of pride or insecurity? This self-awareness can help you recognize when your ego is taking control and allow you to choose a more balanced, humble response. Another important aspect of overcoming the ego is recognizing the value in others. Marcus Aurelius believed that we are all interconnected and that each person has something to teach us. By viewing others with respect and openness, rather than through the lens of comparison or competition, we can build stronger, more authentic relationships. Letting go of the need to prove ourselves or be seen as better creates space for genuine connection and empathy. Additionally, letting go of the ego involves embracing failure and criticism as opportunities for growth, rather than threats to our self-image. When we're not overly attached to our pride, we can face mistakes and feedback with a learning mindset. Instead of taking criticism personally, we can use it to improve ourselves, which ultimately strengthens our character. By letting go of the ego, we open ourselves to a more grounded, peaceful way of living. We stop chasing external approval and focus on cultivating inner strength. As Marcus Aurelius taught, true freedom comes from freeing ourselves from the demands of the ego, allowing us to live with clarity, purpose, and humility. Lesson 8. Embrace mortality. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the concept of memento mori, remembering that we are mortal. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the brevity of life, not to inspire fear, but to remind himself to live fully and with purpose. He believed that by embracing the reality of our mortality, we can approach life with greater clarity, intention, and gratitude. Far from being morbid, This perspective is meant to awaken us to the preciousness of each moment. Marcus wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." By keeping the impermanence of life at the forefront of our minds, we're encouraged to focus on what truly matters. When we recognize that our time is limited, we become less likely to waste it on trivial concerns, petty arguments, or unproductive distractions. Instead, we prioritize actions, relationships, and goals that bring genuine value and meaning to our lives. Embracing mortality also helps us release fears about things we cannot control. Many of us are held back by fears of failure, rejection, or discomfort. But when we remember that life is fleeting, these fears lose their grip. Knowing that our time is finite allows us to take bold steps, pursue our passions, and make choices aligned with our true values. In this sense, embracing mortality frees us to live courageously without being held back by unnecessary anxieties. Another benefit of reflecting on mortality is that it cultivates a sense of gratitude. When we acknowledge that each day could be our last, we begin to see everyday moments with fresh eyes. We learn to appreciate the small pleasures, a warm meal, a kind gesture, a moment of quiet. This awareness brings a depth and richness to life, helping us savor experiences we might otherwise take for granted. The Stoics also believed that contemplating death helps us prepare for it, both emotionally and mentally. By accepting death as a natural part of life, we can approach it without fear or denial. This acceptance not only gives us peace but also enables us to support others in their journeys, recognizing that death is something we all share. In practical terms, embracing mortality means taking a few moments each day to reflect on the transience of life. Consider what you would do differently if you knew today was your last. Use this mindset to guide your decisions, ensuring that your actions align with your values and purpose. As Marcus Aurelius taught, living with an awareness of death allows us to live more fully. When we embrace mortality, we awaken to life's beauty and fragility, empowering us to make the most of each precious day. Lesson 9. Practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is a central concept in Stoicism, and Marcus Aurelius placed great emphasis on cultivating it as a pathway to personal freedom and inner peace. In his writings, he constantly reminded himself to resist impulses and to remain committed to his principles. For the Stoics, self-discipline wasn't about denying oneself pleasure, but about aligning one's actions with one's values, leading to a life of integrity and purpose. Practicing self-discipline involves taking control of our desires, emotions, and reactions. It's easy to get distracted by short-term gratification or fall prey to impulses that don't serve our long-term well-being. Whether it's indulging in unhealthy habits, procrastinating, or reacting out of anger, a lack of self-discipline can lead us away from the life we truly want to lead. Marcus Aurelius understood that by mastering his impulses, he could maintain his focus on what really mattered and approach each day with a clear, calm mind. One practical way to build self-discipline is to set clear, achievable goals and to commit to them daily. By breaking down your goals into manageable steps, you can focus on consistent progress rather than perfection. For instance, if you want to build a habit of exercising, start with a small, realistic goal, like exercising for 10 minutes each day. This creates momentum, making it easier to expand your commitment over time. The Stoics believed in steady, incremental improvement, rather than overwhelming themselves with large, unsustainable goals. Another aspect of self-discipline is the ability to delay gratification. This means prioritizing long-term benefits over immediate pleasure. When faced with temptation, pause and ask yourself, will this serve my future self? By practicing this kind of reflection, you develop the strength to make choices that align with your higher purpose. For Marcus Aurelius, this was an essential practice, as it allowed him to remain steadfast in his duties as a leader. Despite the temptations and distractions of power, self-discipline also involves setting boundaries with yourself and others. This could mean creating time in your day for reflection, setting limits on social media usage, or committing to regular exercise. These small acts of discipline cultivate a sense of control and focus, empowering you to live with intention rather than being swayed by external pressures or fleeting desires. In essence, self-discipline enables you to build the life you want, one choice at a time. By committing to your values and goals, you cultivate inner strength and resilience. Marcus Aurelius taught that the disciplined mind is a powerful ally on the journey to a fulfilling life. Practicing self-discipline is not about restriction, it's about liberation, freeing yourself from the chaos of impulse and leading a life of purpose and clarity. Lesson 10. Seek inner peace, not external approval. One of Marcus Aurelius's core Stoic principles was the idea of finding peace from within, rather than seeking it from external validation or approval. In a world filled with social expectations and pressures to conform, the Stoics believed that true tranquility comes from aligning with one's own values, rather than chasing after others' opinions. Marcus understood that external validation is fleeting and unreliable, whereas inner peace rooted in self-acceptance and integrity is lasting and dependable. Seeking external approval often leads to a life of dissatisfaction and anxiety. When we base our self-worth on the opinions of others, we become vulnerable to their judgments and expectations. This can lead to constant worry about what people think, as well as actions that don't reflect our true selves. Marcus Aurelius recognized that we can't control how others perceive us, and he encouraged focusing instead on what we can control: our own thoughts, choices, and character. He famously wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." The Stoic approach encourages us to seek inner validation by living according to our principles and values. When we prioritize what truly matters to us, we find a sense of fulfillment and purpose that is independent of outside approval. Rather than constantly adjusting our behavior to fit societal expectations, we can live authentically and with integrity. This mindset fosters self-respect and confidence, reducing the need for validation from others. One way to cultivate inner peace is by practicing self-reflection. Spend time each day evaluating whether your actions align with your values. Are you doing things to impress others? Or are you acting from a place of authenticity? By regularly checking in with yourself, you can identify when external pressures are influencing you and make adjustments to stay true to your own path. Another practical tip is to let go of the fear of judgment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that people's opinions are beyond his control, and he found freedom in accepting that not everyone would approve of his choices. By recognizing that you can't please everyone, you free yourself from the weight of unrealistic expectations. This doesn't mean disregarding others entirely, but rather giving more importance to your own moral compass than to fleeting judgments. Ultimately, seeking inner peace instead of external approval allows us to live more genuinely and fearlessly. As Marcus Aurelius taught, true strength comes from within, and when we no longer depend on others' opinions to feel fulfilled, we can approach life with a calm, centered, and unwavering spirit. Lesson 11. Be kind, even when it's hard. Marcus Aurelius believed that kindness was essential, not just when it was easy or convenient, but especially when it was challenging. As a Stoic and an emperor, he faced countless situations where others would have chosen anger, revenge, or disdain. However, Marcus continually reminded himself to treat others with empathy and understanding, seeing kindness as a strength rather than a weakness. For him, kindness wasn't about expecting something in return. It was about living in harmony with his values and treating others as he wished to be treated. Practicing kindness, especially in difficult situations, requires patience, resilience, and a calm mind. In the face of criticism, injustice, or misunderstanding, it's easy to react impulsively with frustration or anger. However, Marcus taught that responding with kindness not only preserves our inner peace, but also prevents us from being controlled by our emotions. When we choose kindness, we maintain control over our responses, refusing to let external negativity disturb our equilibrium. Marcus wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In other words, rather than letting others' behavior dictate our own, we should stay true to our principles and act with dignity. Choosing kindness doesn't mean allowing others to take advantage of us or ignoring when we are wronged. Instead, it's about approaching situations with compassion and understanding, even when we need to set boundaries or stand up for ourselves. Kindness can be firm yet respectful, asserting our values without aggression. By viewing others through a lens of empathy, we're better equipped to see beyond surface-level behaviors and recognize that everyone has their struggles. A practical way to cultivate kindness in tough situations is by pausing before reacting. When someone speaks harshly or acts unfairly, take a deep breath and remind yourself that their behavior may stem from their own challenges or insecurities. This pause gives you a moment to choose a response that aligns with your values, rather than reacting impulsively. Practicing this habit over time builds emotional resilience, making kindness a natural, grounded response. Kindness also benefits us, enhancing our own sense of well-being and fulfillment. When we act with compassion, we strengthen our relationships, foster a positive environment, and contribute to a more harmonious world. As Marcus Aurelius taught, we are all part of a larger human community, and by treating others with kindness, we reinforce the bonds that connect us. Even when kindness is difficult, it is a powerful expression of our character and integrity, a testament to our commitment to live a life of purpose and peace. Lesson 12. Reflect daily. Daily reflection is a practice that Marcus Aurelius valued deeply, and one that he emphasized throughout his philosophical writings. As one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Marcus knew that taking time each day to look inward was essential for personal growth, clarity, and maintaining a Stoic mindset. His book, Meditations, is itself a record of his reflections, offering insights into his struggles, thoughts, and self-assessments. For him, reflection wasn't a passive activity. It was an active and intentional process of self-examination that helped him align his actions with his values. The Stoics believed that examining our thoughts and actions daily allows us to live more consciously and purposefully. By looking back on our day, we can identify areas where we acted in line with our principles and areas where we may have fallen short. This practice of reflection helps us learn from our experiences, avoid repeating mistakes, and make adjustments to improve ourselves continuously. Marcus Aurelius would often reflect on whether he had stayed true to his Stoic values, whether he had controlled his emotions, and whether he had treated others with respect and kindness. One practical way to incorporate daily reflection into your routine is by journaling. Each evening, take a few moments to write down your thoughts on the day's events. Reflect on questions such as, did I live in accordance with my values today? How did I handle difficult situations? Did I allow my emotions to control me, or did I remain calm and rational? Writing down your reflections not only helps you understand yourself better, but also provides a record of your growth over time. Another benefit of daily reflection is that it fosters mindfulness and awareness. By reviewing your day, you become more aware of patterns in your behavior, thoughts, and emotions. Over time, this self-awareness enables you to recognize triggers, understand your strengths and weaknesses, and respond more thoughtfully in challenging situations. This mindful awareness can significantly improve your mental well-being, helping you make choices that lead to a more balanced and fulfilled life. Reflection also provides a sense of closure and prepares you for the day ahead. By acknowledging both successes and shortcomings, you can let go of any lingering frustration or guilt, learning from your mistakes without dwelling on them. This practice allows you to start each new day with a fresh perspective and renewed commitment to your values. The Stoic Lessons from Marcus Aurelius offer timeless guidance for navigating life with resilience, clarity, and inner peace. From accepting what we can't change to embracing mortality, each principle encourages us to cultivate a mindset grounded in self-discipline, humility, and purpose. These lessons are not about suppressing emotions or ignoring challenges. Rather, they teach us to approach life's ups and downs with a balanced perspective, maintaining control over our reactions and focusing on what truly matters. Practicing Stoicism doesn't mean that life will suddenly become easy or free of struggles. Instead, it equips us with the mental tools to handle difficulties with grace and composure. By viewing obstacles as opportunities, seeking inner peace over external approval, and practicing daily reflection, we gain the strength to face adversity without being overwhelmed by it. Each day becomes an opportunity to grow, to live intentionally, and to align our actions with our highest values. Marcus Aurelius's wisdom reminds us that true fulfillment comes from within, not from the fleeting pursuits of status or material success. When we embrace these Stoic principles, we become more resilient, compassionate, and centered. We stop allowing external events to disturb our inner peace and start taking responsibility for our own happiness and well-being. Ultimately, the lessons of Stoicism guide us toward a life of integrity, kindness, and tranquility. They encourage us to be better individuals, not only for ourselves, but for those around us. By applying Marcus Aurelius's teachings in our daily lives, we move closer to living with purpose, finding contentment in the present, and becoming the best versions of ourselves. May these lessons serve as a compass on your journey to a life of wisdom, strength, and peace. If you found these Stoic insights valuable, please give this video a like and subscribe for more wisdom to help you live with purpose and peace. Thank you for watching.